This is the story of Lorenzen Wright, who began playing basketball at a really young age. He played on the collegiate level and moved on to the NBA, where he played for the LA Clippers, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Memphis Grizzlies. When Lorenzen was in high school, he began dating a woman named Shara Robinson. Lorenzen and Shara eventually got married and had 7 kids. Like 7 kids? That's a lot. But then one of them passed away from SIDS. Near the end of his NBA career, it is said that Lorenzen earned, get this, $55 million in total. That's like hashtag goals. But it is also said that Lorenzen and Shara would go through their money as soon as they got it. That's a big move right there. In 2010, after 13 years of marriage, Lorenzen and Shara got a divorce. It was believed that both individuals had cheated on one another during their relationship. That sounds scandalous. Lorenzen moved to Atlanta to live with his friend. Shara lived with the kids in Memphis. According to his friend, Lorenzen and Shara still had a relationship for their kids. So Lorenzen is flying back and forth between Memphis like a loving dad. On July 19, 2010, he takes a trip to Memphis for his sister's baby shower and his daughter's dance recital. During this visit, he made plans to meet up with a friend. When Lorenzen was hanging out at his friend's place, he got a call from his ex-wife, Shara. She demanded that Lorenzen leave his friend's house, pick up their son, and come home immediately. Lorenzen scoops up his son with his friend, and they all drive to Shara's house to see why she's freaking out. Lorenzen told his friend to leave while he calmed down his ex-wife and said he would call him back later that night to meet him back up. But that was the last time that Lorenzen was seen by his friend. So what happened? Lorenzen was not seen or heard from after the 19th. His mother, Marion, filed a missing persons report on the 22nd. Marion thought her son's ex-wife had something to do with his disappearance. When Marion asked Shara about the whereabouts of her ex-husband, she said Lorenzen was seen with another woman. You guys are broken up, you're not even married, that's fine. That's how divorce works. Anyways, around midnight, just hours after Lorenzen was last seen, a 911 call was made. The only thing the dispatcher heard on the call was a bunch of swear words and a gunshot. Now the only thing? I would be losing my shit if I was that dispatcher. The phone call was not investigated until over a week later, when officials believed it could have been tied to Lorenzen's disappearance. The location of the phone call was tracked to a woodsy area along a secluded road. The road Lorenzen would take to get to visit his mom. Now, on July 28th, Lorenzen's body was found. He had bullet wounds, so it was deemed an intentional act. Now let's find out who did it. Now, Shara was interviewed by the police. She denied any involvement with the demise of her ex-husband. But she did share that the last time that she saw her ex, he drove off with an unknown man who had a box of drugs. She believed it was a drug dealer. Before his disappearance, armed men in trench coats had come to her home looking for Lorenzen. Trench coats? What is this, the Matrix? Now, here's where things get really twisted. Lorenzen's criminal case went cold for 7 whole years. Now, you'd think that a millionaire NBA player would have the best team working to uncover the truth. Now, apparently not. But here's where things really shake up. Shara was the designated administrator of Lorenzen's $1 million life insurance policy that was intended for their kids. Now, after Lorenzen's passing, Shara reportedly spent just about all of the money on items unrelated to her kids, like expensive furniture, luxury cars, travel. Because a 5-year-old would really want to care about modernizing a living room with like a coffee table and an armoire and a new sofa. What 5-year-old cares about that? But in 2015, Shara wrote a book about a woman who married an abusive, cheating basketball player. Does that sound familiar to you guys? Yeah. She claimed that the whole story was inspired by her life. And then she went on to marry one of the journalists who interviewed her about her novel. This story is just getting more and more wild by the minute. Shara and her new husband moved to Houston with her kids, and then the couple split up. The dude said Shara was so set on getting her money from her ex-husband's estate, and they still haven't deemed out who knocked him out. Come on, guys, figure it out. After that, Shara started seeing Billy, a landscaper who was also a deacon at her church. In 2017, a Glock was found in a Mississippi lake. The lake was 45 minutes away from Lorenzen's home. The location of the weapon was tipped off by Shara's cousin, Jimmy. Thank you, Jimmy. You did it. You solved it. Jimmy was awaiting sentencing for a crime he committed 3 years before Lorenzen's disappearance. What was the crime that you asked? Well, he took someone's life. So he definitely is capable of taking Lorenzen's. I mean, I took one life, why not take another? But Jimmy said he wasn't solely responsible for Lorenzen's demise. He just played a small role in it. He told prosecutors that Shara and a man named Billy Ray Turner had committed the crime. Whoa, hold on. Billy Ray? He came straight out of left field, the church deacon? Oh my God. Now, according to Jimmy, Shara and Billy came to Jimmy for assistance in planning the act. Their planned attempt was foiled, but Shara and Billy still find a way to do it. Right after they sent the bullet through Lorenzen, they left him lying there and went to Jimmy for help in covering it up. Yo, I can't imagine what was going through Shara's head. Like, what do I do next? Oh, I know. Leave my ex-husband lying on the ground and go to my criminal cousin for help. He'll know exactly what to do. And she did. Shara and Billy went back to Jimmy for help in covering up the crime. She borrowed a metal detector to locate the weapon used, and Billy and Jimmy drove to the lake in Mississippi to dispose of it. Jimmy told all of this to the prosecutors, so of course they had to send a team to the Mississippi lake to look for the Glock. And that's exactly where they found it. After the weapon's discovery, investigators began monitoring Shara and Billy very closely. As they should, they're pretty sketchy individuals. In December of 2017, the two were arrested and then charged. They both pleaded not guilty. That's not where it ends. Billy was previously charged for a felony. When he was arrested for Lorenzen's case, Billy was found in illegal possession of a firearm. He pleaded guilty for that charge. Shara's lawyer was scared that Billy would testify against her in efforts to bargain with the prosecutors to shorten his sentence. So then on July 25th, 2019, Shara agreed to a plea deal. She pleaded guilty. Shara was then sentenced for 30 years. If she went to trial, she could have been sentenced for her whole life. In her plea deal, Shara was also given parole eligibility, which means she could have gotten out of jail as early as 2026. So if there are any NBA stars watching this, you better watch out. I cannot get over the fact that it took even 7 years to piece this one crime together. I mean, this dude had a $1 million life insurance policy up for grabs, and Shara didn't even seem to be the biggest fan of her ex-husband. Also, is it not weird that she pleaded not guilty at first and then she changed her mind for a shorter sentence? She's definitely up to something. And we're up to something too. A party plate. But until next time, thanks for tuning in.